Hey Dirt Magicians, as Dee starts her journey of starting her vegetable garden, I wanted to inspire her by touring 4 different yards and seeing the unique diversity of ways you can start a vegetable garden. A reminder, it is early spring, so there's not much growing. So in this video, we're going to focus on the materials used to make garden beds as well as the soil and any unique features they might have.
That's right, Dirt Magicians. I am super excited that the community of Groville has opened up their yards for me to go and take a peek. I can't wait to go and look around and then steal some nuggets and see what translates really well into my own yard.
All right, Dee, let's go take a look. Our first stop is Elle's, and what I love about her yard is that it's a little bit of a hybrid between in-ground and raised bed gardening. And this year, she's added a unique feature, which are soaker hoses, which is a really affordable way to do drip irrigation.
Yeah, I remember it really expanded the number of beds she had during COVID. She was very inspired by the Victory Gardens from World War II, which is when a huge number of people in the United States, and I think even across Canada, grew a lot of their own food and were quite self-sufficient. So she expanded from 2 beds to 10 beds. And then in growing her own food, she not only wanted to grow food for her family, but she also wanted to inspire her neighbors and friends to grow their own food during COVID and times after.
Yes, she has over 8 garden beds between her front and backyard. And what's great about this is she rotates which family of vegetables is in each bed every year, which is a fantastic pest prevention strategy. And if you don't know what a vegetable family is, or you're not sure which vegetables are in which family, we have a free resource for you called All in the Vegetable Family, which describes what they are and which vegetables are in which family. So make sure to go to our description box and click the link below there.
Love that. And Brie, what kind of wood is she using for her beds here?
She scavenged wood from a neighbor who was taking down an old fence and some of her old garden beds.
Yeah, she's very resourceful and very sustainable, and I find that incredibly amazing in the way that she put her beds together. So I have a question about her soil. What kind of soil is she using? Is she using her native soil, or did she have to bring the soil in?
Both. Because these beds are only a few inches tall, the vegetable roots will definitely be going down into her native soil, but she topped them up by getting a few truckloads of soil dumped in as well.
I didn't even know you could get truckloads of soil dumped right directly to your yard. I always assumed you just had to go to the garden store and buy them by the bag. So this is really great information. And it also seems to me that you'd save much more money doing that. So especially when you have a really large garden. So that's a really cool nugget of information. I can't wait to learn from the other yards as well. So let's go, Brie.
This yard D is an absolute labor of love. Although there are no raised beds here, I would say it was probably the most work to make out of all of the vegetable gardens in Groville. The soil here in Groville is really silty and hard-packed. And as I mentioned in our previous YouTube video about where to put a vegetable garden, it's imperative that you have loose soil for the plant roots of our vegetables. So this was an absolute labor for Lori to be able to loosen this soil. And it was made even harder because the silty soil is really heavy and it clumps a lot, so it makes it really challenging for digging. In fact, she actually had to get some machinery to help make the soil looser. So she got a rototiller and tilled it multiple times to make it loose, and then she was able to get some soil from a local microgreen grower and add it to it to help mix it into that soil.
Well, she did do a fantastic job. I've seen her grow some really beautiful veggies here, and her soil is very loose. And I know she's worked really hard to loosen up all of the soil. And I've noticed that she's got this really beautiful greenhouse here.
She does, and it's actually right over this old tree stump, so that was very strategic of her. And she puts pots in there and grows her heat-loving vegetables like tomatoes, eggplants, and peppers. She also noted that the heat reflects over into this part of the garden and makes it extra warm as well. I want to note that this greenhouse has some key features. Firstly, it has vents on the top and it has a door that can be left open throughout the day. This is really important for airflow for disease prevention, and most importantly, so that we can open all of this up in the summertime so it doesn't cook the plants inside.
Greenhouses do seem to have a lot of advantages, and you can grow a lot more heat-loving plants. Maybe one day when I'm not renting, I'll get myself one as well. All right, Brie, on to the next place then.
These are Diane's garden beds, and they were built back in 2016 at the same time as their house. They asked their home builder to also build these beds. And what I really love about them is that she uses the unique features of her yard to her advantage. Firstly and namely is that she built a bed right along the fence. So she naturally will have a trellis provided that she adds some kind of netting for the plants to climb up. Going against the fence also helps because it protects from the wind, so it'll create a warmer microclimate back here. Another thing that creates warm microclimates and helps our plants grow is the like button. So if you're gaining value from this video, make sure to click it.
That's right, Dirt Magicians. That like button is so crucial to plant growth here. So make sure to give us some love if you're getting value. What I love about Diane's beds is these M-shaped beds that are against the fence. This is really clever, Brie, because she can actually get in between the beds and work in them individually. So Brie, what materials did she use to build those beds?
She used treated fir wood, and then she lined the beds with plastic to prevent leaching from the treated wood into the soil.
So what do you mean by treated wood could leach into the soil?
Wood is often treated with preservatives to keep it from rotting, and within these preservatives are things like chromium, arsenic, and copper. And there's a possibility, not a guarantee, just a possibility that those different chemicals could get leached into the soil and then subsequently into the plant tissue and the vegetables that we're eating. So it was a great precautionary method that she used by lining the whole thing with plastic to prevent that leaching from occurring.
Oh, I had no idea about treated wood. That's really interesting. All right, Brie, on to the next yard.
So Dee, as you know, Tricia started growing with us over 2 years ago as part of our pilot program. We had someone come and build these cedar wood beds for her. Although cedar is the most expensive wood to build with, it is significantly better because it decays way slower than other types of untreated wood. As you can see this year, she's added another 2x4 layer to this garden beds, and that's because the soil beneath these garden beds was super compacted, so water wasn't able to drain through. So last spring, when we had really heavy rainfalls, her soil got really waterlogged and it inhibited some of the plant growth. So by raising it, she's gonna have better drainage this year.
Yes, the cedar is very beautiful, but what I do prefer is all of the wood chips that she's laid around the beds. They look so pretty and so aesthetic. So Brie, why does she do that?
It prevents her family from having to do awkward grass cutting around the rest of the lawn. It also has allowed her to add a lot more pots throughout the garden.
Yeah, I've noticed that she has more and more pots each year. So Brie, what soil is Tricia using?
Well, because I was involved in the process of helping her set up her beds, and because I have a soil science background, I did a ton of research into the different soil companies out there. And I was looking for two specific things. Firstly, was that they had a nutrient soil test done. If the company claimed that it was a vegetable soil mix, I wanted to make sure that they had testing to back that up. Two, was OMRI certified. OMRI is a certification body for organic. It also has higher standards for testing against pollutants like heavy metals and contaminants.
So if I see the words OMRI, then it means organic, right? Okay, even if I had a soil test, I would not know how to read it.
I hear that. I think just knowing that a soil company is testing and cares about that is good enough, even if you can't read the test itself. If the company can't provide any kind of evidence, I would look elsewhere.
Oh, good to know. Well, thanks for the garden tours, Brie. It was really great to see so many different garden setups. I just can't wait to get mine started next week.
All right, Dirt Magicians, if you're interested in more videos that showcase gardeners doing things in different ways, check out this video here.